Good evening, everybody. Welcome to another edition of the Focus TV. Cardell and I are laughing a little bit because we're looking forward to this whole All-NBA teams and awards and that segment of tonight's show. So, spoiler alert, we're going to get to that at some point in time. Obviously, we have our Wizard segment. Some news came out today, which, depending on how you feel about things, you're either happy or somewhat happy or on a whole other level happy about it. DC United, got an update on them. Good news and a little bit of bad news. And, Cardell got some rapid fire as always, man. So he's looking forward to that portion. I'm not. Unless y'all want to watch me sweat. I tell you he's not here to partake in rapid fire with me. But the Wizards segment, so they were on a West Coast trip recently. We're going to, just to share how things went. Lost to the Lakers 124-106. They then beat the Suns 124-121. They lost to the Jazz 128-124. Then they beat the Nuggets 95-90. There were some good things that came out of this trip, and just some things that we've been kind of pointing at all season long in terms of issues and not really issues, but things that rear their ugly heads and losses. Per usual. Yeah. But you want to talk about the trip? You want to get to today's news as it pertains to the Wizards?
We can finish off the trip and then get to today's news. I was one thing I took from the trip was Jabari Parker just continue to be consistent off the bench. They gotta keep that guy. I don't care what they gotta do. They gotta keep him. He's just a spark plug. He come in, that's at least 20 and 5 every night. You can't just let that go. And he's playing the best basketball I've seen him play his career. He's getting healthy. He's still fairly young. He's only like 24. So you have to take that factor in. A great guy to grow with Bill, as Wall recovers and whatnot. And Troy Brown, he had his best game as a pro since he got drafted. 24.7 rebounds, 9 to 16 shooting, 56% from the field. That's what kind of allowed Bill to chill. He didn't have his best night, but, Troy Brown picked it up, and Thomas Bryant continues his improvement, his steady improvement. 20 points, 14 rebounds, 3 assists. I'm going to speak on, why Scott Brooks is vital once we get to the Ernie part, but, you just saw a lot of the young fellas come up big. holding the Nuggets to 29 points in the second half, or 28, whatever it was. That's unheard of, not the Nuggets. They got too much firepower. I know, Jokic getting ejected was a big part of that, but, they still have a lot of weapons, to go to work. So doing that, and, and that won them the game, they only won by 5 points. Defense, that's the main thing we always said about them all year. When they play defense and rebound, they win. When they don't, they lose. So they did against the Nuggets, and that's what I was most encouraged by, to play the young fellas.
Yeah, that's pretty much it for me, too. It was nice to see Troy kind of, you put in the work to see it come to fruition on, on a bigger stage, not just a practice court. It's fun watching him get more comfortable, grow, and the biggest thing here is you cited most of what you brought us pretty much as supporting cast. You continue to grow and develop throughout a year, which obviously this is how anybody wanted things to go. But if there's any silver lining to it, is you got a decent group of young guys here that have continued to play hard and put in the work to develop, and that was evident on that trip. But that's pretty much all I had to really take away from that. Again, is the biggest thing to me is we're in that load management era of the NBA. Credit that these guys are still playing hard. We're technically, as far as like playoffs or goals like that, there's nothing to play for. Yeah. But they're still playing hard, and I appreciate that. And then secondly, to a bigger note, that plays into part of trying to change the culture here.
And that's the main thing I'm looking at as well. It's just like I don't want it's been too much losing. We can't have any type of losing culture. It's even outside of what stuff you can't control right now. Right. And that's why you continue to fight and everything, because that dude that takes you in the summer, like, we got to get to work so we can come up out of that. And then next year, you already there. When you allow, it's hard to come up out of a losing situation, losing culture, because it becomes toxic. Everybody kind of, for the most part, not everybody, but people just take shortcuts. They just roll with the punches. All right, man, if he doing it, I ain't got to do it. He ain't working out, I ain't got to work out. He ain't on that meal plan. I ain't on that meal plan. He ain't going to work out with the team. I ain't got to work out with the team. He ain't rehabbing. I ain't rehabbing. The next thing you know, you got 9, 10 players doing all that, and it's going to show in the game. So when it's time to play. So with that being said, I'm just happy that they continue to fight, and that shows they're still fighting for Brooks. That's why I'm like, you don't fire him. I mean, we going to get into that once we get to Ernie, man, because, people just always want to just clean house, and that's not what you do.
Well, I mean, we pretty much here, so we can go ahead and slide into this whole Ernie.
Okay.
I'm going to let you take the floor.
Well, Ernie Grunfeld was let go, relieved of his duties the day by Ted Leonsis. They waited for him to get back from the West Coast trip. He informed them. Yes, he did call John Wall and Brad Bill, according to reports, let them know. We was there at Media Day with Ted laid down the gauntlet. I expected D playoff run. He said no excuses. And he meant it. You can see it in his face. Look, I did everything on my part, put cash checks, signed checks. With the new state-of-the-art facility that's way ahead of other G League facilities. There's literally nothing, no reason why we shouldn't be able to do it. The injuries happen. They get off to that bad start. Injuries happen. We all know how it all unfolded. And, he had to do what he had to do. It was long overdue. It's a combination of things that just made this, like people been saying he needs to go for a long time. The draft picks, the roster changes, not re-signing guys, overpaying guys. It's all a combination. Trading, the low-key thing that no one has mentioned, when he made roster moves, he gave away picks. So when it came time to try to rebuild the team, he could not do that because there were no picks available. There were at least 2 or 3 years in the draft recently. During the John Wall era, I'm not going to include it, Gilbert Arenas era, we all know how that ended abruptly. But, with the John Wall era, there were 2 or 3 years where they had no picks in the draft, and you don't even have money to go out and try to get free agents. So you're stuck. That's not a good look, man. It's just bad roster management. And then on top of that, under his 16 seasons, man, the team record is 568 to 724. Says all that, and that's it. That's all you need to say, man. So, Senior Vice President of Basketball Operations Tommy Shepard will report to Leonsis on all basketball matters beginning immediately. The team will begin to search for a new head of basketball operations, which will include Shepard as a candidate upon conclusion of the season. What are your thoughts on that?
As you said, first thing comes to mind, long overdue.
Right.
It's a results-based business, and you guys just heard the record during that tenure. It's almost to a point where, the thing with the draft picks, the reason why it matters so much is when you give away, like if you're going to give up draft picks, right? One, you need to make sure that what you're getting back in return for them, they're concrete things.
Yeah.
They have to be concrete. Where the only way that it's a bad thing is if said asset is hurt. If they're healthy, and what they bring to the table is a negative, and that trade wasn't a good trade. Is that simple? But the other thing is again, that means since John's been here, there's been a failure to surround him with the things that would help you maximize his talents. You throw Brad into that, and now what we've seen this year is Brad go through. It kind of sucks for Brad, but again, it kind of played into the him unlocking that new level this year as well. Was he kind of had the John years, dealt with kind of what John dealt with before John had Brad.
Right.
This year was kind of throwback to that. Except at the same time, you saw a little bit, there's some talented young players around. But yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if they hold off on bringing somebody new around for a little while. Like I was saying to you earlier.
Right.
Just reading what you showed me, and then, just reading some of the statements and some of the reports, it just seems like for them to kind of fix or improve upon the culture that's here in that building, Ted's gonna have, the whole thing has to be made anew.
Right.
And I credit him because we talk about owners of football all the time that meddle and do too much. And for the most part, what's hurt here has been an owner that's done what you're technically supposed to do to a large degree, which is trust who you hire and let them do what they need to do. And maybe it just went a bit too long. But
ain't no baby.
it went too long. Obviously, there's going to be things that come out, you know, in the coming days and weeks about, you know, there's some background information with all this. And what I mean, that's just pretty much where I'm at with it. It's something that needed to be done for them to take the next step, and it kind of goes in tune with what this year has kind of been like on the court, where the larger thing is you have to take a step back to go forward, and this is a step that had to happen to go forward, because I don't think there was any going forward with that piece still part of this puzzle.
I mean, bottom line, John Wall and Brad Beal kept them employed because of what they became, all NBA guards. But I want people to kind of just take a look, get an example of, you know, his draft picks. You know, obviously 2010 John Wall came in, no brainer, enough said. But the following season, 2011, he drafts Jan Vesley, 6 overall, ahead of some players you might have heard of. Now, obviously, Kemba Walker, you already got John Wall, so no point in drafting Kemba. Klay Thompson, you might have heard of him.
I know that Kemba played in that tournament that you about to name.
Yeah. Kawhi Leonard, 15th pick. All the way at the end of the first round, Jimmy Butler, all became all-stars. You see what I'm saying? Like, you can't miss like that. And Jan Vesley never became a factor at all, to the point he just went back all season, stayed. You cannot miss like that, because that sets your team back. Yes, now the next year, he regrouped, he did well. Brad Beal.
Right. But again, another no-brainer.
No, it wasn't
Okay,
quite a
that's
no-brainer. He was in the mix, but another Brad Beal, and, you know, second round, talking about Santa Ramsey, who has emerged as a quality backup. Took him a few years to come over, but that's fine. So we fast forward to 2013, he drafted Otto Porter. No doubt, that's great. But you drafted him ahead of C.J. McCollum, who we all saw do damage in the tournament. You see what I'm saying? And Greek Freak. So you had 2 cracks at 2 all-world small forwards, MVP caliber small wings before Otto Porter, and you didn't draft him. And we heard the stories about Greek Freak when he started coming on the radar. A lot of teams didn't go over there and check him out. That tells me you're not doing the Lord. When you see that, you gotta at least go see. All right, let me see what this kid about, because he might wake you up. Like, I mean, one of my favorite players, Kevin Garnett, he had his workout, and that was before all this high school stuff came to play. So all the teams said, let's just go check him out, man, whatever. So they went and checked him out, and Kevin McHale and late Flip on to say, man, we ain't drafting this kid. We just gonna show up and, you know, do our work, do what we supposed to, just check him out. And he wowed him. He was like, oh shit. Kevin McHale, like, yo, we better hope that kid available now. Like, it wakes you up. That's when you can see everything. All right, I get in there. So you have to do the work. You gotta be in the gym. It's no aspect of basketball where you cannot be in the gym and be successful. And I'm not saying we don't know, but the result speaks for itself, man. It's just he missed too much just on draft. Even last year when we were in the draft room, I wish people could have been in the draft room to understand how, like, it felt empty. It felt hopeless when
it was deflating.
Yeah, exactly, and it's not Troy Brown's fault, because he has promise. But they had a bunch of wings. It was like the need was in the middle, and then you see what Mitchell Robinson is doing in New York, and it's just like, man, dang, man, it's like, yo, man, it's like you sleeping on a girl or something, and she go be bigger and better, and everything look better and all that. You like, dang, man, that could have made it. That's what it is, and now you got to deal with him in the East for years to come.
Essentially, that's literally what that was last year. You had several cracks at bigs. You had several cracks. And again, like you said, the biggest thing, and I think we've been pretty much open about this the entire time, that's not on Troy Brown. You can't draft yourself. But in terms of a need.
Yeah, and then I might just keep going. So 2014, didn't he have a first-round draft pick? But in the second round, you draft Jordan Clarkson, who you didn't keep. You traded him away. 2015. I mean, I'm looking. You had a 19 pick. You draft Jerry Grant. Okay. Ahead of a current player that's on there, Bobby Portis. You know, Larry Nance Jr., guys who became better pros. Second round. Aaron White, who never played in the league. Yeah. You see what I'm saying? Like 2016. You can say all the salary cap roster all you want, man, but when you see these misses, man, another time. 2016, don't have a draft pick in the first round. The same thing. No second round pick. I mean, you don't even have a chance to improve your team, man. This can't happen. And this has been, and we've seen like what the Warriors done with late round picks and stuff, and other teams are using late round picks, sending them to the G League to develop, and they come back and kick your butt. So it's just, it was just too much damage on all sides. It's like, it's nothing you can hang your hat on outside. He drafted Wong Bill. That currently you could look at and be like, that was a good job. Everything else, you can question greatly.
I mean, after that, I don't think there's much else to throw on that. Because, I mean, look at what it's done for other teams. Like, okay, so perfect example. We got what's happening in Washington right now, right? Toronto turned the whole thing around in an offseason.
In 2017.
The entire thing.
Look, 2017 didn't have a draft pick at all. So 2 straight years you didn't have a draft pick at all. From bad roster movements. 2018, with you, Troy Brown. The 2nd round pick last year.
And then even that.
Lisa from Sandon, who I doubt will play in the league.
And then even then with the 2nd round pick, you had people that could have made the roster and contributed available.
Here's some 2nd round picks that could have helped the team. Javon Carter, who everybody's high on. Jalen Brunson, who's now starting in Dallas. Okay. Mitchell Robinson, talked about him already. Kerry Thomas, we seen him in Philly come in here and go to work on the Wizards. You see what I'm saying? Bruce Brown getting minutes up in Detroit. Justin Jackson, I'm not sure if he's in the league. Oh, he's not in the league, right? I'm not sure. Hamidou Diallo in a rotation for OKC. Kiala Bates-Diop came in here with Minnesota and went to work on the Wizards. I'm just saying, man, you looking at all this, I mean...
The saddest part, some of the names you brought up were here for pre-draft visits.
I mean, bro, you know what I'm saying? I'm not saying Troy Brown, once again, he's just calling the crossfire.
Nah, this
because he has talent, you can see.
It's not an indictment on him at all, but again, it was looking at your roster, know what a priority was, right? Your biggest priority was a big.
Especially before Dwight even signed.
Period. Once, upon drafting John Wall, your priority should have been big until you hit on one to be his running mate, right? And this is after getting Bradley too. You never got. They're still looking for the athletic big they were supposed to have.
They thought, but at that time, to be fair, you got to understand they had Blatch and JaVale McGee, who they was kind of hoping would become that, but it didn't become that. So then you got to regroup. But in hindsight, 2020, you don't quite know. But some of those draft picks, you was reaching. Jan Vesley, you was reaching, dog. Like, that's just safe to say.
Young man from last year, reaching.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Troy Brown might be. He has the problems. You can see the flashes, the talent with his size, but
then
at the time you had Porter and Oubre, and I understand Oubre their signs where he wasn't gonna re-sign. That's why you traded him in. Porter time was ticking with that max contract to see if you was worth keeping him around.
But at the same time, it doesn't take away from the fact that, again, this has nothing to do with Troy. The priority, you still have a hole at that place we're still talking about.
Exactly. And as good as Thomas Bryant is, he's still undersized. So when we mean size, we mean a footer. So
thank you for clarifying that, because we're talking about things that patrol the paint.
Length, guys that can shot block.
That alter and tip the game.
Thank you. Because if they say we're going to take Mitchell Robinson last year, that rim protection is different, and it makes Wall and Bill with the way they throw lobs. You got to guard him, even though he's all bro.
Because now you stretch the floor not just horizontally now, you're stretching the floor vertically off the screens now. It's just a whole different part of the game. And then the other thing, defensively, you're allowed to play up those dudes. Now when you gamble, it's different. And there's a deterrent back there, but.
And Mitchell Robinson with 36. In the 2nd round, they won with that, man. You know, and not even just that. I like what the Knicks did when they what's the bucket? You know what I'm talking about? Trier, Alonzo Trier, same thing. He didn't even get drafted.
But like you said, the biggest thing is just the due diligence, and I think that's one of the things that I'll give Ted this. I think he's the type that he's gonna get it right after this.
Because he's willing to put the work in.
Yeah, and that's the thing where. Again, not a Wizards fan, but I do, just from how he goes about his business, I have faith that Ted's going to take the time to do the due diligence to make sure that when it comes time to hire Ernie's successor, that's the right fit, and that the way things worked before, that's not going to be occurring again.
And you also have to look at this, man. A lot of people feel they know basketball. That's not the thing. But it's a totally different thing at the NBA level with evaluating talent, coaches, and GMs and stuff. That takes time. And you got to be around the league. Like, you know what I'm saying? I thought I knew basketball until I started being around the league all the time, year round. You just realize, all right, I ain't know like I thought I knew. So you got to humble yourself, just chill and just learn. And then you come out better on the other end. Not saying that's related to Ted, but a lot of people like, how you miss on that? How you miss? It's easy because you just like, man, this dude can hoop.
Yeah.
So draft him. But, you know what I'm saying, his skill level and that level of skill and athleticism might be great for college. It's not great for the pros. Adam Morrison destroyed college. It was unfair. But he got to the pros.
All the things that allowed him to have the edge there were
what advantage you got against Kobe?
Because of the competition.
Yeah,
the game change.
What can you do against Kobe and D Wade and other two guys, Rip Hamilton?
With longer wingspans, more athletic.
And do what you do.
Like you said, that's a huge part of it. All right, so we love to know what you guys think. Get us on Twitter about what's the latest news with the Wizards, who you would like as a replacement GM, or anxious to see what Shepard does in his role.
Okay.
Or I'm very anxious to see how the draft goes this year now, because this whole thing's going to be interesting now because there's a different person. Well, just that person is not at the helm anymore, period.
Yeah, we got to wait to see who that pick is, because if they miracle happen, they get number one, we all know who it should be.
I didn't mess with you. Y'all follow Cardell on Instagram. I think you all know who the pick is. Even if you don't follow him, I feel like you should know who he's talking about. But we're going to take a quick break. When we get back to DC United news. And then, we're going to talk about these awards with the NBA and all NBA teams where you guys are going to be mad. Add us, tweet us, can't wait, I won't respond. You're watching the Focus TV. Welcome back to the Focus TV. As promised, your DC United news. So they haven't lost yet. That's your update. They continue their unbeaten streak to start the year. Joseph Moore suffered a big injury. They face LAFC this weekend. All right, so on to what happened this past Sunday. They ended the drought on the road. The last time they won on the road was last May. Just to let you guys know why there was that type of excitement following the final whistle on Sunday evening. Wayne Rooney had an assist and goal in this match. The assist, it was a beautiful ball played into Steven Birnbaum, who got his first goal of the year. But the goal was ridiculous. Some people are, not too happy about the call that preceded the goal, but the referee pretty much was ruling that the intent with the slide, I believe by Dom Dwyer at Wayne Rooney was there was intent. And as Wayne pretty much going to paraphrase here, I'm not going to stand there and get hit to make sure I get the call. You've been playing for quite a while. Why would you subject yourself to that? But the goal, if you haven't seen, get over to MLSsoccer.com. It's kind of crazy. Cardell, I sent that to you this weekend as soon as it happened. The way that ball broke, talent. Definitely bent the heck out of that. The biggest thing that jumped out to me, they didn't really play well in this match on the road, but what was important was they were still able to not play up to their level or play as well as they would have liked and still left with the 3 points. Orlando definitely looked to be the better team in the second half of play, which is where they got their first goal of the game. But DC United did a good job of not conceding that second goal. Lucas Rodriguez, the youngster, continues to stand out to me. Obviously, we know what he does in terms of what he brings to joining the attack. But I like his work rate on the other side of the ball as well. He does a good job of getting back, getting stops in different parts of the field. Just want to share what stood out to me, and it's something about him that I really, really like, is his work rate. Another thing DC United could have did better was, hold on to the ball a little bit better. They didn't possess the ball nearly as well as they should have. Too many times they kind of just dump the ball out of play, which is something we've seen in past years and different iterations of DC United. So, that was one of the things that wasn't a big fan of. But again, all in all, the important thing is they went on the road and they left with a win. Wayne Rooney recorded his 4th goal and 3rd assist of the 2019 season. He now has 4 goals and 3 assists on the year. Bill Hamid conceded his first goal of 2019. The last time he conceded an MLS regular season goal was in the 3-1 win against NYCFC on October 21st. All right, so I'm going to repeat that one more time. The last time that Bill Hamid conceded a goal was October 21st in a 3-1 win against NYCFC. If you look at the standings in the East, DC United currently sits atop. Joseph Moore is out with a broken jaw. I believe the report from Stephen Goff said we shouldn't expect him at training for about another 4 weeks. So, wish him a speedy recovery. I'm interested to see what DC United does what decisions they make at the back. They have several options. We saw McCann come on for Mora. You have Jalen Robinson. You have the first-round draft pick of Akeem Ward. You have the option of moving Paul Areola back and then having Snyder play wing. So there's options. I'm anxious to see what it's going to look like Saturday against LAFC. Going to be a good matchup. And DC United plays at home at Audi Field, and I always love opportunities to get to good old Audi Field. I truly enjoy it. So very much. But 9450 and Jamal Hayward this week breakdown as a quick between pull-up. Again, it's a breakdown of a quick between pull-up. So check this out for Jamal Hayward at 9450. We'll take a quick break, and when we get back, Cardell and I have some things to make some of you very upset in our NBA awards. You're watching the Focus TV.
Efficient move to get the defense off balance and get your shot out quickly. So it's a quick between with a hard step forward towards the basket. It's a pull-up. So I'm going to start going left. So I take a big step out with my left foot. I go between the legs and I drop my hips. So big step out, go between, drop my hips, bring the right foot up, quick shot. Same thing going to the left. Big step out with my right foot, drop my hips, go between, bring my left foot up, shot. So here it is, game 3. Today we're going to work on a quick, efficient move to get the defense off balance and get your shot out quickly. So it's a quick between with a hard step forward towards the basket. It's a pull-up. So I'm going to start going left. So I take a big step out with my left foot. I go between the legs and I drop my hips. So big step out, go between, drop my hips, bring the right foot up, quick shot. Same thing going to the left. Big step out with my right foot, drop my hips, go between, bring my left foot up, shot. So here it is, game 3.
Welcome back to the Focus TV, and now the moment you've all been waiting for. Follow us on social media. We're going to get to this whole NBA awards segment. Where do you want to start, Cardell?
Get right into it. Rookie of the year, So who you got, man? Come on.
Hey, I feel like I got the same person you got. So if you guys were watching last week, Octavia has the same person as well. We brought this up to her. So even in her absence, she chose Luka Doncic. I believe I did the same. I believe you did the same.
Yeah.
And similar to what Ben Simmons said, just from the start of the year, beginning and end of the year, team did what it's doing, the impact you're having on the team. The consistency was the biggest thing for me. And I've just seen him in person, man. He's just different.
Yeah, and it's very close. Don't get me wrong, Trey Young, a bad boy. He's a bad boy, but, just the consistency, the wins that matters from day one to now. I got to give him the edge, just having just 21-7 and nearly 6 assists. A little bit slightly better shooting percentage from the field than Trey. Trey shoots better from the field and free throw, which makes it, close. And then obviously Atlanta winning 28 games is close, but, I'm going to get the edge to Luka.
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it for me. Was consistency was used. The biggest part to me was from start to finish, he's been consistent. Mm-hmm. With Trey, it took a little while, but when he got going, it's been real.
Explosive.
But the biggest part, and this is not a knock, is the difference between coming out of college and someone who was
playing against pros, and not
only contributed but got it done against pros. So that's just the thing. And again, this is not a knock on Trey because you were doing it against college. So you were going to have an adjustment period to the pros, where someone was just going from one set of pros to another set of pros and just figure out where you fit in a different professional league, but you're already professional. All right, so you want to do MVP or MIP right now?
We could do most improved.
Okay.
I'm rolling with Pascal Siakam.
Siakam?
Yeah, you gotta say it like that. The way he, man, put a little twist on it. He's been an X factor for Toronto. Even with, especially with Kawhi, being in and out, working his way back. I mean, his career stats is 9.9 points and 5 rebounds, 1.9 assists. He dang near doubled all that. 16.8 points this year. 6.8 rebounds, 3.1 assists, 54% from the field, 35% from 3, 78% from free throw line. You guard the 1 through the 4, being 6'9", 230. What more can you say, man? He's most improved to me with John Collins and Montrezl Harrell being close second and third.
Yeah, my choice was Pascal. Again, got to go consistency. From the beginning of this year, we saw that somebody improved, and I felt like he continued to do so as the season progressed. With Kawhi, we know that they managed him most of the season coming off injury, and Toronto didn't fall apart. And obviously they have some other good veterans there, but we've seen a couple games when Pascal was the leader.
Yeah.
Dominant performances in those games. So if it was one thing where he was just along for the ride, it'd be a different type of conversation. But he's a legit part of that team to where you have to game plan for what Siakam does to you. Yeah. And, you talk about all the time about when the scouting report catches up.
What you gonna do?
It's hard for me to believe that people are going to Raptor games and he's not on that list. You have to factor for him.
Absolutely.
So with that being said, that makes it easier to, in terms of why he was a selection, was literally for those reasons. You now went from maybe being a dot on a scouting report to, there's paragraphs now in terms of what you have to deal with this guy. And I like that he impacts the game on both ends.
Yeah,
at that height. And it fits right into what makes Toronto so great is having those long, lanky, versatile guys. And, so I think that's why he was pretty much no-brainer selection for both of us.
All right. Who's your sixth man of the year?
I'm going with Lou Williams. The reason I'm going with Lou Williams is nobody thought the Clippers were still going to matter at this point. Mm-hmm. Not only are they mattering, they're a playoff pitcher. And it's easy for someone on a roster like that to be like, hey, I should be starting.
Yep.
And one of the things the Clippers have been able to do this year because of having a guy like Lou is develop guys like Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. You got Montrezl Harrell. Development still happening. There are some other young guys that they've had to develop, and I commend Lou Williams for being able to be a superhero in the role that he's in, to not get in those guys' way. And the other thing is to be a closer in that role too. You just gotta give him credit. And the word, the theme we're gonna hear tonight, with us is consistency.
Yep.
Hey man, if your team can rely on you to be a superhero in that role each and every night, I feel like this was a no-brainer selection.
Yeah, I agree. Come on, I mean, 20.3 points, 5 assists, shooting 43 from the field, 35 from 388, closing games, got him in the playoffs. What more needs to be said? Spencer didn't really got hurt, which hurt his chances at the end. You kind of tailed off, but he was right there for a minute. And same thing, before when Lou was starting, Montrezl had a little run, but you gotta go with Lou. He's the best 6 man in the league. Period. Who's your defensive player of the year?
Oh man, this is tough for me.
Yeah.
So my heart, right? I wanted to throw Giannis in here. Really bad, I wanted to, because you got the best record in the league. Your team isn't your team with if you're not there to do what you do defensively. That's what makes it a cheat code. Is you can guard 1 through 5.
Right.
Well, I went with Gobert just because I already gave Giannis MVP. My vote went to Giannis MVP.
Go ahead.
But I guess that was my initial choice when my heart was Giannis, but I chose Gobert.
I went Rudy Gobert.
Okay.
Average of 2.3 blocks per game and 12.9 rebounds. That's a part of the defense. You got to look at that. But, just seeing it, the impact he has, how dudes literally do their best to stay away from him. I mean, he's there. He's a presence. And even the shots he don't get, the way he alters shots and how he changes up your game plan. When he's out there, he can guard the pick and roll and stuff like that, get out there, contest, recover. I mean, by far, he's the best defensive big man in the league, so, right, I mean, Paul George had a strong year, Giannis right there, but, with that type of impact, it's Rudy. I mean, basically, he is the Jazz defense. He allows those guys to pressure defense. I mean, look, he got no disrespect. He got Joe Ingles looking like he can strap.
Look, this is what I was going to say, if you didn't say it, I was going to say it.
He got guys look like they can strap. Rubio look
and
decent on defense. You take him away, There's buckets out there, so you gotta give credit where it's due. Who's your coach of the year?
Man, this hurt. It's hurt. I went with Doc Rivers.
Yeah, me too.
And it was hard to ignore Coach Bud
and Nick Nurse.
For what they've done, but nobody expected this out of the Clippers,
Mike
man.
Malone, yep.
You just did. Nobody can tell me they went into this year like, oh, Doc won't have him in playoffs. Man, no,
we went into this year not even knowing Jerry West would keep Doc around because they relieved him from GM duty. That's what I'm saying. And look what he got. I mean, look, people don't understand. The Clippers are 6. They're 47-31. They're 5 games back of Golden State. 6 because they got one more to loss column. They 6 games back of 5 in the win column. You see what I'm saying? Like they hanging and they doing it with a bunch of hungry, grizzled, tough veterans that know their lane and do what they do. And sometimes that's all they do their job.
And then I guess the biggest thing to me, that kind of like the cherry on top, is the fact that while you have those vets that obviously play a huge role in what you've been able to do, they've allowed you to develop these kids too. I just feel like it's just a total team effort over there, and a contribution, and it's just hard. It feels like to me, it is hard to ignore what he's done this year, and he deserves it. So.
Hey man, look here.
I know we're gonna, and I know for all of you that are watching, our stuff's gonna be different at some point. We're gonna get there.
James Harden. So, I mean, and then what Jerry West was doing, But I know everybody want to know who our MVP is. Go ahead.
I mean, look, it's Giannis. We don't say the last name here because I'm not about to butcher it.
Hey, look, I got it. Finally.
Hey, you got that for both of us because it's Giannis, a.k.a. the Greek Freak, number 34 in Milwaukee. Again, consistency beginning to end. Same thing with the Rookie of the Year race. The differentiating factor to me was from opening night, he's been consistent. I believe people were trying to make a big deal about the fact that he played in the game last night. to make sure that last night or the night before to make sure that they clinched. Yeah, that mentality, man, that just is cemented for me. And I know James has been tremendous this year. And it's, again, like the thing with Trey, not to knock James in any bit, he's put on one of the better offensive shows we've seen from a single player in the NBA. And it's been fun to watch. And I know that, I think it's like 2 steals or something this year. He's done a little bit better on the defensive side, and that's good. When you brought up Gobert's impact, Giannis's impact on both ends of the floor there is just crazy. So just can't ignore it. Again, the consistency, the ferocity in which he plays. Look, man.
Just like you said, no one expected the Clippers to be where they had. No one saw the Bucks having not just no one seed in the East, to no one seed in the league. They win the next game. They got the home court throughout the playoffs. Okay, so and then you add in this 27 and 12. 5.9, nearly 6 assists. Then his impact all around defensively, averaging 1.3 steals, 1.5 blocks, shooting 57% from the field. Bama's knock his 3-point shooting, but I'm like, when you dunking on the whole team, who cares? 72%, he can improve, but that's still a solid free throw percentage shooting. And the Terry James Harden been on, it speaks for itself. But the team didn't do as well. He got off to a shaky start. Greek Freak, kind of like Luka started from game 1, going to work. And then he just exploded and went on. He hasn't been as efficient as Greek Freak from the field. Obviously, he's a better 3-point shooter, free throw shooter. And, defensively, it's no contest. So, it's plain to me, it's Greek Freak. It's more to this than some dang, offensive step-back threes, which a lot of people are just blinded by for some reason. So, it is what it is.
But again,
right.
I don't understand how you watch the Bucks and not walk away thinking that.
Your executive of the year.
What title does Jerry West have with the Clippers?
He's in the front office, so
I can't give that to him, right?
Nah, there's more GM.
All right. I guess Masai.
Yeah, I'm with you.
I guess Masai to turn something around that quickly and for it not to fall on his face.
Because
it kind of just, like we all know what DeMar meant to that city, that area, the team. His best friend's still on the roster. It just felt like a really smooth transition. Like things like that aren't supposed to happen that smooth.
Right.
And they got better.
We
talk about this results-based business, right? They got better. Some of the things in which they struggled with during the past iteration, obviously we get to see what it looks like in the postseason, obviously, but you don't feel the same things you felt about that other iteration of the Raptors.
No doubt.
To do it that quickly of a turnaround, and for it to be that smooth, I don't really recall any huge hiccups. I gotta give credit, and that even comes from that second unit that they have, and the development of the guys that they've kept around, their use of the G League. I'm going with Masai.
Okay, same thing here. Who is your all-rookie first team?
My all-rookie first team.
First and second team.
I'll do first team first. I'm going with Luka, Trae Young, DeAndre Ayton, Mitchell Robinson, and I had Shai.
Okay.
My second team, Colin Sexton, Landry Shamet, Miles Bridges, Marvin Bagley, and Kevin Knox.
Okay, my rookie first team, DeAndre, Luka, Sharon Jackson, Colin Sexton, Trae Young. And my second team, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Marvin Bagley, Wendell Carter, show him some love.
Yeah.
I love what Kevin Knox was doing, and I'm gonna throw Alonzo Tree in there just for me in the spark plug with the Knicks. He deserved that shine.
Now it was actually surprisingly hard to choose those for me. As you can see, I'm kind of hurt. I left Jaren Jackson off, and then I was wrestling with Kevin Huerter.
Yeah, me too.
I was wrestling with that kind of hard. I guess who's your all NBA third team, and we'll build our way up from there.
Oh no, we gotta do defensive team. You gotta say that for the last, baby.
Oh my goodness, I left that off.
Oh, NBA defensive first team. All right, I'll go.
Go ahead.
First team is Rudy Gobert, Paul George, Giannis Antetokounmpo, yeah.
Hey,
got it,
okay,
man.
okay.
Miles Turner. And I'm going to put Patrick Beverly up there in the dog. Second team, Marcus Smart, Jimmy Butler, DMV guy, Jeremy Grant for OKC. Gonna get the credit he deserves.
Yes.
Love what Draymond Green doing when healthy. And when healthy, Kawhi Leonard. You know, he's literally won games doing that. So those are my defensive teams.
I like that.
All right.
I have my list. I'll put mine on Twitter. Because I'm mad I forgot that one.
Okay. Go ahead. Who's your NBA?
My third team? I'm going to start with my third team, work my way up. I'm going to get this out of the way. I'm not. You want me to start with the first team?
Go ahead.
Either way we go, I'm going to look petty. So I'm cool with this either way. You want me to go with the first team or third team?
It's up to you. Go ahead.
I'm going to go third team. We'll go that way from, the third to first.
Okay.
All right. All NBA third team, I have Russell Westbrook, Kemba Walker, LeBron James, Anthony Davis, and Karl Anthony Towns.
Okay.
Who you have for your third?
On my third team, Blake Griffin, Ben Simmons, Kemba, LeBron, and I put Rudy Gobert up there for the wins.
Yeah.
Tired giving dudes credit for putting up numbers and don't get W's, man. Got him impact winning, but go ahead.
Second team, I had Dame Lillard, Brad Beal, Kawhi Leonard, KD, and Joel Embiid.
My second team, Steph Curry, Paul George, Kawhi Leonard, Nikola Jokic, and Russell Westbrook.
Okay. My All-NBA first team was Giannis, James Harden, Steph Curry, Paul George, and the Joker.
My first team is Dame Lillard, James Harden, Kevin Durant, Freak, Joel Embiid. And there you folks have it.
Yeah, that was interesting. Most of the stuff was quite similar, sir. So job well done.
Yeah, you got the game, it's self-explanatory.
Man, it was tough with the rookie teams, and it was tough with the All-NBA first teams. It really was for me. And I was struggling, I know Bill was making my list, where to put him. Now, that was my struggle for me.
It's just hard for me. You notice everybody on my team, for the most part, making the playoffs. LeBron numbers just too strong.
Yep.
But it came down to Bill and Kemba. Kemba, he leading the Hornets to more wins, so you gotta respect it. That's what it's about.
Look, man, you're right. It's a result-based business. We've said this several times this evening.
Yep.
All right, so we got some time for some rapid fire, man. What you got for me this week that I don't want to answer? Let's go.
You don't want to answer?
I probably don't, but let's go. I'm ready.
The Nets reportedly will extend head coach Kenny Atkinson as staff. What are your thoughts on that?
No-brainer.
No-brainer.
I think it was a no-brainer. No-brainer at all. I like the group they have, what he's done with that group, the impact he's had. I don't feel like, while everyone's talking about D'Lo, obviously, I feel like that staff's played a role in helping a lot of those guys develop over there. So yeah, it only makes sense. And if you're the Nets and you want to, you've progressed at this place, you want to see what's the next step is. What's the thing we talk about the most when trying to change stuff is continuity. You need to keep this stuff around so you can continue to take the next steps.
Your coach, the guru, the legend, Gino Auriemma.
Yes.
He said that most coaches are afraid of their players. Quotes. The majority of coaches in America are afraid of their players. The NCAA, the athletic directors, and society has made them afraid of their players. Every article you read, this guy's a bully, this woman's a bully, this guy went over the line, this woman was inappropriate. Yet the players get off scot-free and everything. They can do whatever they want. They don't like something you say to them, they transfer. Coaches, they have to coach in one hand behind their back. Why? Because some people have abused the role of a coach. What are your thoughts on that?
I agree with him wholeheartedly. We talk about it here at the Focus quite often about the state of some of the young people, these days as pertains to athletes, not just in basketball, but just period. That's part of the problem now. We've seen each and every year the number of transfers. It's obviously some things, yes, some of the transfers, it makes sense. You do what you need to do, be closer to family members and whatnot. Sometimes fits are really just that bad. Other times, I think the issue that we have is that some of these transfers are just because you didn't like the way something's going.
I agree. I just feel like we we are getting to a point in society where accountability is about to be lost, and that's just not real. You mess up, you deserve to get dealt with, and that goes for everybody. And a lot of people don't like their little feelings hurt. It's extra sensitive. We saw with Michigan State in his own, and the freshman guard or whatnot. And look how he responded. It was nothing. He just hooped. That's just part of life, man. So, Gino's totally right. And pretty soon you gonna have players dictating how programs should be ran. And me, I got an old school vibe with me, and I'm that's why I say I can't be a head coach. I'm more of an assistant type, work with the players than that. And I would just tell the parents, well, you come take these, coach them yourself. Like, it'd be real quick. Yeah. I ain't got time to go back up here with you, because what you're not gonna do is come in here and tell me how to run my program. So you want to allow them to come here. You don't dictate stuff, just like I don't come in your home and dictate how you raise these little bad mother. You know what I'm saying? So it's a give and take. If you trust me, if you entrust your kid with me, then trust me. They'll come out better than when before they came, and it's as simple as that. Last question. Russell Wilson gives the Seahawks an April 15th deadline for a new deal.
Just my thoughts on
that.
Yeah. I don't know what's going on in Seattle. What y'all got against good players and keeping them?
Yeah.
But if you want to take the man out the division of the team that I root for, I hope you don't meet your deadline. I hope Russ has a very great life in a different division, a different conference. But nah, seriously, man, give this man what he's owed. You owe this man at least that and more. You've taken away so many things from him. He's done what he's done despite the offensive line you put in place. We've seen like 9,000 different versions of offensive line. Other top quarterbacks, there's continuity in front of him. We've changed the weapons he's had. So many things have changed, and all he's done is come in, show up for work, and make the most of what he's been given. The fact that you're even at this point is disgusting to me. And I'm not surprised because the NFL is just being the NFL, man.
Look here, man. He is the 12th highest paid quarterback in annual average a year.
No problem.
He signed a 4-year contract for $87 million in 2015, which is way below market value right now. And now Aaron Rodgers, who's the top paid quarterback, makes $33 million a year. Russell Wilson is scheduled to make $17. So pretty much half of that. And he's not too far behind him. If anyway, like his production is not too far behind Aaron Rodgers. He gotta be up in that 9-figure territory, easy.
We're talking about a guy with a Super Bowl ring, right? Correct.
And that gives him he can bring
that
to the table.
Throw that in there with resumes when we talk about other guys who sometimes aren't playing to the level Russell Wilson's playing at, and it's been a sustained level of play as well. So it doesn't make sense how we're at this place. And then if you're Seattle, I'm just thinking like, how many people do you have to lose before you realize you can't just, everybody's not
replaceable though.
Everyone's not. But, you can't do that with everybody.
But check this out. How come this only happens to brothers?
Because it's the NFL in their position. We all know about it. Why? Like, look at where we are right now in this draft, where we literally got a prototypical quarterback, right? And then we got the other version, right? You got the best of both worlds technically, and we're literally hearing that we should wait till 2020 for quarterbacks. Or my favorite part about the Dwayne Haskins thing, I thought some school of thought people out here with, oh, look how many games he started. Man, Mitchell Trubisky played 13 games. Y'all let this rock. This guy at least sat for 2 years behind a very good quarterback, college quarterback, in J.T. Barrett. And he talked about what he learned, things of that nature, reading some stuff on him. If he looked a little bit different, man, the stuff they be saying about Dwayne Haskins, it'd be crazy. It'd be really interesting to me because he's literally everything some people are going out the way to prop up some of the knots to be. And the only difference is the pigment of your skin color. And it's just getting irritating.
Listen.
Because, like, you brought up Aaron Rodgers, right?
Yep.
And he's a bad man, all the things he's done. At the end of the day, he got the same amount of Super Bowls as Russ has. Right? These are two quarterbacks who have excelled at their jobs in this league. Both of which I don't think anybody has any issue saying haven't exactly had the best supporting cast around them.
How many Super Bowls Drew Brees got?
I think we still wait. No, he got one.
Yeah, he got one. That's what I'm saying. So he should be up in that top tier and getting paid and all that. And consistent promo.
If we can mention him with him, you know what he's worth.
Exactly. So look, my advice to a lot of people: look deeper than what you know these talking heads and what you even what you kind of seeing on TV and what's being told to you. A lot of things is when you just pay deeper attention, you'll see the real. And I'm gonna say that without really, I'm speaking in codes, but really do that in all sports because a lot of BS is being passed around here. And us kind of being behind the curtain and stuff like that, we laugh when we see it and people run with it. But it's a lot of BS, man. You know what I mean? We shouldn't even have this. This shouldn't even be a story. They should be hitting them up and, yo, we going to extend you. It's a 4-year deal.
Can you imagine if somebody offered Drew Brees $17 million? The stories that would be written about what the Saints ownership and everything else, the audacity that they have to lowball this man. Yet we got to a deadline with somebody who won you.
Man.
And then you got rid of him. And even if you want to say he didn't win you the Super Bowl, you literally let a bunch of things that helped win the Super Bowl out the door. So at that point, if that's the only thing that's left there, you deem that more important than those other things you let out the door. Upon doing that, what's the issue with paying them?
And yeah, he threw the pass and lost the Super Bowl, but who made the call? All right, then instead of giving it the beast mode. Hey.
Like all I've seen is watch this front office go out their way to just be very inept about things that are important.
Okay. Well.
So, like I said, as a fan of a team in the division, hey, y'all do what y'all do, man. I don't mind if that man leaves, get him out of there. He gets on my nerves. he gives me many headaches. Get him out of there. But just trust and know you're gonna go back to being the old Seahawks.
Yep, trash.
When we don't hear about you anymore. It's just crazy that we're here, man.
Like
you said, how is even a story? Well, we want to thank you guys for tuning in, man. We truly appreciate you guys. As always, get over to findsmack.com. Get over to mymonosports.com. Cardell's about to lose his voice. Mine's probably be going within 48 hours or so. I can hear it.
See you later, man.
So, thank you guys for tuning in. Again, thanks to Rodney back there making all this works. And we'll see you guys soon. Been another episode of Focus TV.
Couple weeks.
Couple weeks.